A new report says the world's current military security situation suggests a more dangerous decade may be on the horizon. The report attributes rising danger to both aggressive use of military power by countries like Russia and to the multilateral responses the actions provoke. As wars rage and tensions rise, so does military spending. Defense budgets totaled $2.2 trillion in 2023. That's 9% higher than 2022. For more on the decade of danger, we're joined by Seth Jones. He's director of the International Security Program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Thank you so much for being with us. We're tight on time. Give me your sense of what makes this next decade, some of the component parts that are going to make this next decade more dangerous.
Well, I think one of the most significant concerns is the military buildup we're seeing by, on the one hand, the Chinese, the Russians, North Koreans, which are building nuclear capabilities, and the Iranians, including their drone programs. And on the other side, we're seeing a big defense buildup by South Korea, Japan, a range of European states, including Finland. So it is not just insecurity, as the report notes, but defense buildup alongside of that.
Let me ask you about the defense buildup in the Pacific. The Navy says the U.S. is expected to have 5 aircraft carriers in the Western Pacific this year. Why that show of force, which I think is more than have been there before?
Well, what we're seeing in the Pacific is a major Chinese defense industrial buildup. Shipbuilding, one of the weakest areas, actually, of the U.S. defense industrial base. One of China's shipyards is producing more ships right now than all 7 of the U.S.'s shipyards combined. That gives one a sense for where the Chinese are going, and I think this is why we're seeing a big U.S. power projection in the region, with tensions in areas like the Taiwan Strait, South China Sea, and other areas where we're seeing Chinese activity.
And Seth, do you see a connectivity here, which is to say American decisions with respect to what's happening in the Middle East, with respect to Ukraine, inability to fund the Ukrainians, have connected effects to power projection in the Pacific?
Oh, there's no question. I've spoken to and been in most cases to Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Australia over the past year and talked to senior leaders. They're watching what's going on in areas like Ukraine and the Middle East very closely. And I'll say this, that it is concerning that we're seeing the Russians providing assistance to North Korea and its ballistic missile and long-range rocket program. We're seeing North Koreans providing a range of assistance to the Russians, Chinese providing a range of assistance to the Russians. There's a lot of interlinking now between a number of these competitors.
And in the last 50 seconds we've got, it's an election year. Educate voters on a question they should have top of mind for whoever the president's going to be in the next 4 years. What should they be looking for to inform their vote on these topics?
I think the real question is, how do we protect the U.S. homeland from a range of powers that are more deeply interconnected, that have the U.S. as their most significant global ally? We cannot simply, in this environment, with 17 straight years, according to Freedom House, of declining democracy, we cannot adopt a xenophobic approach, because these countries, the Chinese, the Russians, are trying to expand. They're revanchists. So in that sense, how do we deal with multiple problems without being the world's policeman?
Excellent. Seth Jones from the Strategic Center for the Center for Strategic and International Studies. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Seth.